It's man God, I'm about to do my thing. They say I got an opinion on everything.
In a very rigorous way what it means to be in touch
Birdman.
with what some call spirit.
Birdman
And we're
hand.
going to be talking about some of the technicalities of how
Well,
we know
Warriors.
if we're working on our own
Hey,
independent
youngin.
imagination or if something is actually guiding us. Is there a way to definitively tell? Guess what?
Oh man, we looking at some spooky stuff today, boy. Some spooky, ooky, wooky, wooky. Spooky. You understand me? Y'all don't believe in psychic abilities? Y'all don't believe in that stuff? You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't believe? Are you a non-believer? Well, today you will be a believer.
What? The answer is yes. Today we're happy to welcome back Suzanne Giesemann. She's a spiritual teacher, a best-selling author, an award-winning documentarian, and she's a former Navy commander. She has a master's degree in national security affairs. She was a commanding officer and aide to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. She was at the Pentagon on 9/11 and ended up losing her stepdaughter in a tragic accident, and this opened up an entirely new way of her functioning in the world and being in touch with messages that come.
You know, sometimes you hear people's stats, and it's like some people just got too many stats. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you was everything. You feel me? Like, man, you lived a life. Like, I mean, it make you. It almost make you feel like. So that when you hear stuff like that, that's what make you feel like you ain't done enough. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of stuff make you feel like you're not fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's you listening to other folk trying to compare your life to somebody else's. Yeah.
From a different realm than the one she had been operating in her entire life.
This episode dives into what is the one main thing that is blocking our spiritual connection. What does it feel like, look like when we connect with spirit? What is the type of guidance that we can get? Suzanne also dives deep into how psychics can and can't find missing people, help with tragedies, and communicate messages from loved ones who have passed.
We're also going to discuss her upcoming book, Always Connected, How to Find Comfort, Clarity, and Direction from the Spirit Within.
Of course, she got a book. Of course. You know, somebody, you just can't come online without selling something. You know, you got to have a book, album, clothing line, you know, a website, something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So happy to welcome back to the breakdown, Suzanne Giesemann. Break it down. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be back. When we spoke to you, Suzanne.
Damn, she had a whole nigga nose. It is like she had a nose like mine. Like maybe it even be fatter than mine. Like I'm expecting her to have a nose like this one right here. You know what I mean? Got the nice, you know, Jewish nose. You know what I'm saying? Got the Jewish schnauzer. She got the schnauzer. You know what I mean? The beak. You feel me? Like that's a bloodline trait right there that she got. It is. Like,
You know, we were at the very kind of beginnings of, you know, an opening that Jonathan and I have had here on the podcast. And we're so excited to get to speak with you now that we have a lot more questions and also a lot more experience, I guess, under our belt. But you really were one of the first people to kind of open us up to a whole different way of thinking.
Yeah, I remember the vibe felt so different to me because you both came with this scientific background, and I felt like I was being
See, you look at her like white woman. Now look at her again. The lips is what fooling you, especially that top lip. That top lip, that Republican lip is what's fooling you. You know what I'm saying? She got that typical, you know, I'm running for campaign top lip. You know what I'm saying? But what you should be looking at is around the cheeks. You know what I'm saying? And look at that nose. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you pay attention to that, you can see, oh, okay, it's a little bit more to that. You might have to go way back into the bloodline to find it. But that's definitely where it come from right there.
Grilled. You were intense. And so my answers matched you. And it was like this, and I kept checking in with my team. It was actually kind of fun, but it was like, whoa.
Well, we really loved it, and in particular, I got so much out of your book, and I get so much out of your app, and your new book, Always Connected, is something we're going to get into. But first, I wonder if you could sort of address, you've had some health challenges recently, and I wonder if you can both share with us what's going on, and also share some of what you feel your connection with spirit, with something greater than you, has helped you kind of take on these challenges.
Oh, unbelievable, the connection with spirit and the difference it makes. As I get older, I've noticed more lines and such, and just, normal ego sent me to a dermatologist who specializes in fine lines and wrinkles, and she's looking at me, she says, we like to make you look better, but first and foremost, I'm an MD, and she said, I think that this is cancer on your face right here. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, would you mind if I biopsy it here and now? And right off, I noticed how my training in knowing that we're more than these stories kicked in, because I went right to the phrase that I teach everybody. Isn't that interesting? And I never cried, I never wavered, I never said, oh my God. Then she started showing me pictures of what was going to happen, because she said, I'm 99% sure this is cancer. Before I forget, it was just this little white bump. I said, but I thought all cancer was black and funny shape. She said, no, basal cell, which happily is the least invasive, most positive outcome.
Had to get to the black and white shit, didn't we? I started it. I ain't gonna lie. I started it. I did. I started off, by insinuating that maybe perhaps she isn't all the way, you know what I'm saying, Caucasousness. You feel me? But you have to just go there, right? Cancer gotta be black, don't it? Cancer got a race too, apparently. You know what I'm saying?
She said it often just looks like these little bumps. She showed me pictures, and I said, oh my God, that is it. But when she showed me the pictures of the surgery, they literally 6 days ago took a dime-sized hole out of my face right here. And then they cut up here and all the way down to here and pulled it all together. So I have a little bandage over it. But throughout it all, I just trusted the human people working on me, and that spirit would help me through it. And it was really swollen and bruised just for a few days afterwards. But now I just have a little bandage on there, so I just feel it was a God thing that I was sent to this wonderful doctor who is really good at now fixing it afterwards, but also to help me to say to everybody, you really need to get checked regularly, because I've had this thing for years. I've had facials and estheticians messing around there and saying, "Oh, you have some whiteheads." It wasn't whiteheads. It was cancer.
Well, we are glad that you caught it, and it sounds like caught it before it progressed, and we wish you obviously good healing. Obviously, sometimes people have health concerns, and in many cases, things don't always go our way, right? And I wonder if you could talk about what is a relationship with spirit that can kind of handle when things go well and also when things don't.
Oh, it's this knowing that comes from establishing a conscious connection with a higher reality, even if you never see these beings that help us. I never even knew they were there for most of my life. But once I sat silently every day in attempts to connect with my stepdaughter who had died 20 years.
Nigga, did you see that shit that passed by the camera? It took me a while to stop because I didn't want to miss it if it came a second time. But you know how this shit go. It never come twice like that. It don't work like that. You see that shit though? Like that shit was almost shaped like a dragon or something. That was kind of weird. Cause you know it ain't no screen glare. Like, or was it? But how? I mean, camera. I mean, it's a camera. Wow.
Years ago, and realized that we are supported
Boom.
by beings who are loving and will prove their presence to you over and over if you ask and if you play with them. It changed everything. I've had moments where I didn't cry out of fear or why is this happening to me, but I've become very emotional this past week with this feeling of being uplifted and supported and knowing that no matter what, everything's going to be okay. And it's like my husband got a phone call last August from the doctor and said, "You have leukemia." And we just went, "Okay, here we go." And it wasn't hair on fire, as we used to say in the Navy.
You fuck around with that spiritual shit. I'm not talking about regular spiritual. I'm talking about mediums and looking for ghosts and all that type of shit. You get cancer. So be careful about if your girl do witchcraft and you find out about it, because most of the time they do that shit in secret. If you find a calamity constantly happening around you, my jiggle, you got a witch around you, dog. 9 times out of 10, it's your girl. Fucking around with that witchcraft. Because women love to do witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? You can do, it's like popping pills. It's like, don't nobody know that you on a pill unless you just on too many of them or the pill too strong and it's like a dead giveaway that you own something. But, you know, it don't give away no smell. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, you know, you don't have to worry about nothing, you know, no smells lingering and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Nothing off your clothes, nothing on your breath. You know, if you got a vehicle, nothing in your vehicle, you know, nobody will know. Nothing coming out your pores, nothing in your hair. You know what I'm saying? They easy to hide. You feel me? Like, I'm telling you, dog. That's why they like doing witchcraft. For the same reasons that women like popping pills, is the same reason why they like doing witchcraft. You feel me? So there's no dead giveaway for real. Unless she just putting it all the way out there. Like, for instance, this woman got a yin yang in the back. You know what I'm saying? Got this African looking statue up above that. Got what looks like a cougar on the top of this thing, you know what I'm saying? At the very bottom, that look like an African drum. You know what I'm saying? So you can equate that to spiritual stuff. Got that drum on the side, look like a Japanese or Chinese drum, you know what I'm saying? Got the letters on there, got the characters. So you can equate that stuff to maybe this person is into that type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, ain't no dead giveaway. Ain't no dead giveaway. You know what I mean?
It was just, this is life. Life is like a roller coaster. It goes up and it goes up and down. And when you just learn to flow with it and not deny what's happening, what's here, now we can tune into this guidance that is always here. Yeah, it's phenomenally comforting.
Talk to us a little bit about that guidance. People want to have intuition, they want to feel connected to something, and yet so often we're stuck in the materialist realm where we go get a test or we see a sign, we get rejected somehow, we get stopped in the material world, and that's it. Talk to us about what is available for us and how that can support us.
Well, this is the problem. We get stuck in what I call the story. It's the narrative that we take as our only state of being, the only aspect of us, our only identity, you with a name. But we realize that we are souls first and foremost, and that soul has this ongoing connection. The soul is always present, but the problem is our nervous system gets in the way. And I not only had this issue with the surgery, but I've had a respiratory challenge for 2 weeks and have felt so disconnected from spirit. Just yesterday and today are the first days where I really feel like, oh, I'm back. It's not like they're back. Your guides don't go anywhere. But when your focus narrows out of necessity, because you have to focus on physical challenges or pain or an issue with somebody in your life, you don't have time to expand out here and truly feel spirit. So that's the challenge for most people.
If you about that Christianity, then you know first comes the flesh, then the spirit. You understand? The reason why I'm pointing that out is because she does not know, or she is neglecting the fact that we are here on earth. So you got to deal with this first. You understand? You got to deal with this first. You know what I'm saying? All that trying to be all up in the spirit and surround yourself with the spiritual things, and you can get all the spirit you want when you die. Please believe me, you can get all the spirit that you need when you, as they say, give up the ghost. So stop playing. But when you somebody like her, as I said at the beginning of the video, I said, look, some people will make you jealous, make you feel like you ain't done nothing with your life based on how much stuff that they done did with their life. some people just got way too many credentials. And she one of them people. So I'm guessing she done dealt with the physical so tough that now she ready to cross all the way over. You know what I'm saying? But you still got to deal with this physical until you go back into the dirt, man. Here it is.
People, they're caught up in the day-to-day challenges and drama of being human and haven't to train your nervous system to slow down, to be calm, and then set a clear intention to experience expanded states of consciousness. That's where and how we make the connection. I couldn't make that connection because I was uncomfortable and distracted. But now that things are settling down, it's just like, I get this little lip twitch when my guides really connect. I can't make it happen, but it happened this morning, and it's almost like, here you are, and they say, we didn't go anywhere. Here you are.
I want to continue on this line of thinking for a minute because, again, for people who don't have that experience resetting, coming back to spirit, and who are just searching for it, I want to set the logical parameter that says this exists, right? Tell us a little bit about the behind-the-scenes structure that we all have access to that we may not have tapped into yet, just so that we can get our logical minds around what the infrastructure is here.
Okay, I like analogies a lot. So my favorite one is to picture like an aquarium that's just one aspect of this big ocean. It's like kind of a boundary within the ocean. And so on the surface, it could be a lot of waves. And as you go deeper in that ocean, this very large aquarium, the waves settle down, and at the very bottom, it's completely still. We are all waves in that ocean, a very common spiritual analogy, but so practical because when you're in the waves, you can't feel the stillness. But when you sit, and all it takes is 1 to 3 minutes a day, Jonathan, 1 to 3 minutes a day, breathing slowly and saying, I want to tap into that stillness. And you can literally picture yourself sinking down beneath the waves. You find out there is a stillness, and it's right here because you are the stillness. And those deeper layers, they're like thermal layers, right? That's where we encounter guides and help that comes in the form of guidance and insights and sensations of comfort and peace. But you really have to make the effort, 1 to 3 minutes a day. I'm not talking about hours of meditation. We get in the practice of settling down, literally settling into the still.
Now, you know, some of y'all got bad nerves. You know, some of y'all got that condition, boom. That condition is called bad nerves. And you know, you might have to multiply that times however bad your nerves are. You know what I'm saying? You can't do like what everybody, you know, like some medication ain't strong enough. You know what I'm saying? Some medication, you know, man, you go buy some cough syrup, man, you really got to double up. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, they can take the recommended amount. But man, really though, sometimes you got to go on double up on that thing. You know what I mean? Now you don't want to triple up because then it's gonna make you, you know, woozy or high. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, she prescribed in 1 to 3 minutes. You might have to start at 3 minutes. Okay. You might need 3 to 15. You know what I'm saying? Just depending on how nutso you are. You know you crazy. You know you crazy.
And in that space where there is more
Oh.
stillness, more information is available, more guidance is available. If you meet a block in the material world that may not be the end of the options, you can start to navigate it. You may get a sense that, wait a second, what I'm being told isn't the full story. There may be something else here. And then you may be able to navigate the options. Is that accurate?
That's it. Because an even greater analogy, forget the aquarium, just be the ocean. We are the wave in the ocean because you can't separate the wave from the ocean. It's the same stuff. It's consciousness. Picture us like a pattern within the ocean. And I like to say it's like an eddy, a whirlpool. And that pattern is the pattern of all of your life experiences. But the whole ocean carries all the experiences of every being that exists or did exist. So all that guidance is accessible by coming into resonance with other patterns. A match.
Mind Alex Breakdown is supported by Rabbit Air.
You know, I'm one of those people who had lifelong allergies.
So basically what the lady was saying was, the one she was saying is, look here, we all connected. You know what I'm saying? When you get on earth, that's when the separation happens. That's when you learn individuality. You understand? But in the spirit side of things, you know, as she's talking about, the bottom layer is steel, and as you go up, it get more and more shaky, more and more wavy. All this shit is know what I'm saying? So your experience, you thinking about your experience, all you doing is adding to the pool of experiences. So most of the answers is already out there. And even if they don't have the exact answer you need, they got something close enough. You feel me? But that's if you want to play that game. You play that game if you want to. I'm telling you, you fuck around, you gonna catch cancer. You know what I'm saying? Something gonna happen to you. You gonna be, funny looking. You gonna have a messed up walk, something. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how that go. Boom, that's how that go. It's like they demand payment. And a lot of times they demand payment in either blood and or pain. You understand me? And you think you're dealing with good spirits because they helping you. You play if you want to. Because bad people can help you too. Just like that crackhead. That crackhead, boy, you get out there, that boy crackhead is steal stuff. Crackhead got answer, know people. Crackhead know a lot of people. Know what I'm saying? But boy, say, that crackhead gonna hit you up. Man, you got a few dollars on you, man. Give you about 5, 10, 15 minutes of conversation. 20 minutes of conversation. Hey, man, you got about $5 on you, man? Yeah. And oh, man, it's a crackhead dream to have a dope man as a friend. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see, are you a dope man to the spirits? You feel me?
And my kids also were sneezing like every morning. And
Oh.
I had been told to get a rabbit air, and I was thinking, it's not going to make a difference. Those things never work.
Look here. I'm trying to see how.
Mind Balance Breakdown is supported by Cove Pure.
I don't
Look here.
love our water with
Oh my goodness.
5 years from now.
What are they selling?
Heavy metals,
Why?
fluoride, pharmaceutical until
Why are they
2031.
selling shit?
Take
Why?
eure.com/.
I am to say, what does it mean if you feel like you've tried to quiet and you don't feel that metaphor that we've talked about? You don't access that other space.
That is sort of one of the challenges, you know, that many of us have, is that I don't really like I understand this idea, but it's a muscle that is very hard to exercise. And I really love what you said, that like your nervous system is really the only thing that is standing in the way of you and your spirit connection.
It is, because once we no longer have a nervous system, meaning the body has died, now we're in soul awareness, which is here anyway, but it's fully our awareness. It's our state, our natural state, and we're aware of who we are and that we are all connected. But to answer your question, when you say I can't quiet my mind, I say good luck with that, because you're right. You can't ever completely quiet your mind, and this is one of the greatest mistakes people make in meditation, is trying to quiet your mind. That's not the process. The process is setting the intention to enjoy and experience the stillness between the song lyrics, between the thoughts. So it's really more like a practice. It's a non-doing, but the doing part is just noticing. So here I'm going to sit here for 1 minute, and I'm just going to enjoy the stillness. And
Oh, she finna show you how it's done. She finna show the game to you. Hold up. Hey, it's exclusive. You normally don't see. Well, I don't know. I ain't watched a whole lot of these videos, but usually it's like, and go buy it, you know what I'm saying? It's in the book. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all that. You know what I'm saying? Go get my book. You know. She say she finna show it to you. Let's see what's up.
notice what comes up. So I get quiet and I go, oh yeah, there's that song that was on the radio. And you just go, noted, and you let it go. And you go back to, oop, there's a moment of silence. Oh, that itself was a thought. Noted. And then you go back. And there was like 2 seconds of silence, and that felt really good. And then the thought will come up, am I doing this right? Oh, that was a thought. And you let it go. It's just, they're like, now we'll switch from the ocean to the blue sky analogy. All that stuff, sensations, thoughts, and feelings, STF stuff, all that stuff that comes up are the clouds in the sky. And they're always going to be there. But you just notice, oh, there's a cloud, and you let it go. So what's cool about this is, why are we doing this? Because we want to access higher guidance. We want the comfort and peace and clarity that comes from setting the story aside. So as you do that, every once in a while, something that's not a normal cloud floats in. And then you go, wait, what was that? And then you can actually ask, why did I just see that? Or why did I just hear that? And then you get quiet and you realize, oh my gosh, that was the answer to this puzzle I've had. Or that's some really good guidance. Even if it's obvious, that hadn't occurred to me. And that's how it works. It bubbles up. It stands out from the stuff.
That's an interesting explanation.
Okay. That's cool. Kind of sound like you saying, basically, yeah, it's something you've been trying to solve. The answer coming to you, but you gotta stop thinking so you can get the answer. That's some weird shit right there. That's some weird shit, but maybe that's how it go. Just like when you looking for something, and all of a sudden when you stop looking for it, that's when you find it. You know what I'm saying? Shit be disappearing, literally disappearing. Boom, and all of a sudden, it just kind of pop up, and you be like, "Wow," you know what I'm saying? Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? I guess let's see what
that we haven't fully had before. We've heard people talk about hearing a voice and the placement of the voice. We've heard about channelers, but for everyday intuition, to think about it appearing just as a thought would with a slightly different characteristic hasn't been fully described before.
Well, in my new book, Always Connected, I have these conversations with what I call joy, with a capital J. Joy is the ocean. It's the deepest aspect of the ocean I've been able to contact. Do I want to call it God? No, because that would really have some baggage with it. So I just call it joy. But in these conversations, it's fascinating because it points us right back to the fact that you and your guides and your loved ones who have passed and everyone are all joy. If we're all waves in the same ocean, we're just talking to different levels of this one being. It's not a person, it's a state of awareness. And so when you drop into the stillness and something stands out, is it your thoughts? It's the ocean's thoughts, and so are yours.
You just brought up the term guide or spirit guide, as well as deceased loved ones. And when you think about a medium or someone who's channeling someone from beyond, that's a very specific voice. How do you distinguish?
Yeah, shit get a little too spooky for you, boy, man. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna let y'all have it. They talk about the ancestors coming back hollering at you. Dead people. I see dead people. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do all that. You did? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna stop right there. Now, if you want to keep going, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to keep going, you can do that there. Matter of fact, let me see here. What it's called? It's called Evil People Don't Go to Hell. Here's what actually happens to them. So if you want to find the answer to that, because it seems like we far from the answer. If you want to find the answer to that, go ahead. Do you, boo-boo?